Hey friends, I'm just going to show you this while I wait for a couple of people to jump on. I'm doing a live feed and I'm showing them the sunset. Accidentally put on the neighbours on their balcony. That's funny. Alright, what's up? It says there's no one on here, but sometimes there is, and Facebook just doesn't tell me, so I'm just gonna go for it. Today's Friday the 13th, and when I looked at the date today, I was like, oh my god, everyone's gonna be on about bad luck day. And if you followed me for a while, you know this is a really big thing that I'm really passionate about. That luck is absolute crap. It doesn't exist. It just does not exist at all. Hey Paul, how you doing? Now you're going, okay Bianca, well you can't just say it doesn't exist, like tell me why. So I'm going to back that up for you. So we create everything in our lives. You guys hear me say it all the time. So I'm going to break that down. Basically, we're creating everything from within us, right? It starts with beliefs that were created, the core ones between the ages. Hey Callie! It starts with beliefs from when we was ages 0 to 7 are our like most core, most deeply rooted beliefs. And they start from there. And our beliefs are what trigger our thoughts. And our thoughts are what trigger our actions. And our actions are what create the results in our world. Hey Danny, how you doing? It's literally like Facebook saying there's no one online and like 3 of you guys are commenting, so there could be like 80 people on here for all I know. Say what's up if you're online. So if this is what's going on, which it is, your mind and your energy and your body are actually controlling everything that's going on in your world, right? So we build these filters through which we experience the world, through which we see the world, based on our experiences, based on our beliefs, based on our thoughts, and based on our conditioning, and basically what we've chosen to accept as truth in the world. Hey Katrina! So when we're doing this, there's no actual room for things like luck and fate and chance. Like they actually can't exist. If you believe in them, if you believe that crap stuff's gonna happen to you, that it's bad luck day and crappy things are gonna happen, they probably are, and they almost definitely are, because if you're setting your mind on something and you're setting your energy around that, meaning that you're putting a lot of fear into something, or you're putting a lot of excitement into something, or you're putting a lot of your energy around a particular thing, then it actually helps to create that out in the world. So let's just back this up and give some examples, because anyone who's on the line who doesn't agree with this is going to be like, that doesn't make sense. Let me think of an example. So this is an example I quite often use to show how we're creating everything. So say you're 2 years old, you're crying, your parents don't come to you, right? We make everything up in our lives. It's actually ridiculous. We make everything up. You're 2 years old, you're crying, your parents don't come to you, right? And in that moment, your unconscious mind needs a reason. It has to rationalize, it has to make sense of the situation at all times. Your mind wants an answer for everything. So in that situation where your parents didn't come to you, maybe on their side of the story, it's like they were in the toilet, they couldn't hear you, they were on a phone call, they were in another room, whatever the reason is. Maybe you cry every night and they decided to ignore you on purpose because they were like, God, we've tried everything else. Who knows? But in your mind, as a 2-year-old child, you decide they're ignoring me. Regardless of what the truth is on their side of the story, you decide on your side of the story, they're ignoring me. And then you're like, what's a reason for that? This is unconscious, right? You're not actually going, ooh, no one loves me. But maybe you are. But in the back of your mind, you make up a reason. So it's like, they're ignoring me because they don't love me. Fast forward into your life a little bit further, you're in school and you get chosen last on the sports team. Like they're picking teams for sport, you get chosen last and you're like, oh yeah, here we go again. People don't love me, people don't prioritize me, whatever. Fast forward a little bit further in your life, and by this point it's just become automatic thought that like you're not even thinking like that's why anymore, but like you're in the dating game and you've been stood up on a date. You feel like crap, but at the same time something inside you says to you, well of course that happened because it's you. right? You've started to make that your normal because of this belief that you made up way back. And you just now that our beliefs are just thoughts that we treat as true. Okay, that's what you need to know. Our beliefs are thoughts that we treat as true, and we repeat over and over and over again. And then we live our lives based on that, right? So if you feel like people don't accept you and don't like you and are going to reject you, you're going to show up in the world in such a way. And maybe it only plays into your life sometimes. Maybe it means that you're a shy person, that you're not confident, and that kind of thing. Or like you've placed those labels on yourself. Because truly, like your true self will have just abundance of confidence, abundance of everything within us, everything good. A shy person is only just you choosing to act like a shy person and behave in a shy way. It's not your true self. So if this is what's going on, which like I've said a million times now, it is, that's what's happening in all of our lives, then how could there be something like luck, which is just an external, invisible force of some kind? Like, honestly, like what is it? Like the boogeyman or something? Like what is luck? What is fate? What are these things? I don't get it. It's like believing in Santa. Like, as long as you believe in Santa, then it is true for you, to be perfectly honest. As long as you believe that luck's going to control your life, it will. But you have no power in that life because you're actually just like, oh, something's going to happen. And you're still creating your life. It's not like you actually, hey Karen, how you doing? Danny, I'll get to your question in a second. You're still creating your life, and Karen's doing my Leading From Within program, and we've just kind of started to touch into this in week 1, and we're going to get deeper. You're still creating from whatever that default is. So if you're creating that no one loves you, that you always get rejected, that your relationships always go a certain way, that bad shit always happens to you, that you're always running late, whatever beliefs you have about yourself, like whatever it is, you always have drama in your life, then you're talking to people who bring drama into life. You're like choosing to engage in shitty conversations. You're choosing to act in a certain way that makes people reject you because you're like being weird, you're being annoying, or you're just acting like someone that they naturally want to reject because you're acting like you want to be rejected. It sounds crazy, and when you go into the unconscious mind, all of us are crazy. Like, I don't even know why there's such a thing as like crazy and not crazy, because like when you look at how our minds work, it just doesn't make sense. And that's the thing. Life, like the best things in life actually don't make sense, but the world that we live in actually pushes us to believe that what makes sense is what's right. What makes sense is what's the best. It makes more sense to get a stable job than to go out there and be an entrepreneur and try and do your own thing. Like, that's a bit risky, that's a bit dangerous. And I mean, I'm getting off track with what your unconscious mind wants there, because that's a whole another. Ooh, cockatoo's going wild. Sorry for that, guys. I know the birds can sound a bit crazy through the Facebook Live sometimes. So this is how we're creating in our lives, right? Sometimes I break it down, sometimes I don't break it down as far as that. But when that exists, there's no room for anything more. Like, if you truly accept that you're already creating everything in your life, then maybe you feel like shit. But like, if you're choosing to feel like shit, then you're also choosing that. Because like, if you're like beating up on yourself, like, oh, I created this situation and now I'm broke, or my partner dumped me, or like whatever it is, yeah, you created that. But the awesome thing is you can actually create whatever you want as well. Because you're already creating. You're not stopping. Like, it's not like in that moment you're just like, oh, I created that, and now I don't know, the world's going to create for me. No, you're always creating anyway. So it's up to you to just choose what you actually want to create and move your focus to what you actually want to create instead of what you don't want to create. And then, like I said before, where you're putting your energy, if you're putting your energy into all this stuff you don't want, I don't want it to go wrong. Oh, I'm in a relationship, I don't want them to break up with me. They always break up with me, or whatever it is. You're putting a lot of energy into that. So you're acting like you want to get dumped. Because you're acting like, oh, I better be super sensitive. I better be super nice. I better be like the best. Because underneath it all, I'm really scared they're going to leave me. And guess what happens? They're going to leave you. I'm sorry to laugh if you're in that situation right now. Yeah, super awareness, Karen, mate. Just wait for weeks 2, 3, 4 up to 8. Like, it just gets better and better when you delve into this stuff. So you can just choose. You can really just choose. And if you're believing into luck and you're buying into that like superstitious stuff, I mean, we all believe in certain things. Some people believe in the universe. Some people believe in the moon. I mean, the moon physically has a gravitational pull. I don't deny that could have a massive effect on our body if it can change the tides in the ocean. And we're made like 70% of water. I think it does have an effect, but also that's my belief. And you can choose to believe that's a load of shit and that the moon has nothing to do with anything. And I see people kind of buying into that as well. Like, oh no, it's the stars. I can't do anything this week because Jupiter's in Uranus. No, I don't know. I don't follow astrology, but some people kind of buy into that a little too much and make it an excuse for not creating as well. Because you can always choose, even if you're feeling like crap because you're tired, because something's gone badly in your life, because the moon's doing whatever it's doing, because someone died in your family, or whatever's happening around you, you always have choice. Always have choice. Right, I'm scrolling back, so I'm going to look at Danny. When did I snap out of that thought and wake up? Well, guys, if you have any questions on this, throw them in. I've got a bit of time today, so I'm just going to open out a Q&A. It still looks like there's no one on, but I can see that there's people commenting, so I'm going to assume there's people there. So Danny, when I snapped out of this was about nearly 5 years ago now. I think it was May too, like almost to the day 5 years ago. I went to a workshop when I was living in Melbourne, and the first section of the first day of this 2-day workshop was all about this, all about the unconscious mind. Danny's actually doing Leading From Within in May. Guys, if you want to get in on this, it's great stuff. The unconscious mind and our limited self and our higher self. And I suddenly realized why I was different to everyone else. Because I'd been living my life in such a way where everyone was like, oh, I don't know how you go traveling all the time. I wish I could do that. And I just wanted to shake or slap people and be like, what are you talking about? You can. Like, what am I doing? I'm working, I'm saving money, and then I'm literally quitting my job and I'm going traveling for like 10 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And then I come back and find work. And like the beauty of living in Australia is that it's a very freaking easy thing to do. Like, there's no magic secret that I've got that you don't have access to. It's very simple. Put my focus on my traveling and what I actually love and what I want from my life. And this is what I noticed, is that while I was prioritizing what I love, and I was like, well, you're batshit crazy. Like, why would I not do that? Why are you not doing that? What's keeping you here? Like, is it something better? No, it's always their shit. Like, oh, I've got a job and I can't even get that much time off. Well, I didn't ask for it off. I just took it off and decided I'll find another job and move states and move to Greece and do whatever the frig I want, right? And this is the moment where I realized why people found it so amazing what I was doing with my life. Well, they were just living the boring story that that so many people subscribe to, that we're fed as children. Like, go to school, go to university, get a good job, steady income, get married, have kids, the end, right? Ugh. A lot of that really, I'm just like, okay, most of it makes sense, but like, school enrages me because it just teaches us out of knowing who we really are, out of understanding our truth and creativity, and just puts us in this like black and white, like yes or no, right or wrong system, and basically prepares us for the 9 to 5, which I also don't subscribe to that style of living in this day and age where we've got so much access to the whole globe. If you've got an internet connection, which you do because you're watching me live on Facebook, what a freaking miracle that is. Like, really, think about it. Like, think how proud they were when they created TV, and now I'm just sitting here on my balcony, like, broadcasting to you wherever you are in the world. Where does what make sense, Paul? If you could clarify that, I'm more than happy to answer. Oh, I think you're agreeing with me, like, where does it make sense to go through the school and stuff? Yeah, feel free to clarify. So Danny, when I was in this, and everyone else, when I was in this workshop in Melbourne, I realized that that's what I was doing, was I was prioritizing my heart where everyone else was prioritizing their limitations and their crap, basically. Like, oh no, that'd be risky, that'd be scary, I can't do that, I've never done it before, all that kind of stuff. They had the full volume on full on that side of things, whereas that was like a tiny like thing I didn't even hear, and I had full volume, like, yeah, I would love to do that, I would love to do that, I want to do that in my life, I'm gonna make it happen. And that's basically like what you're saying. Israel, Danny? Not sure what that's about. I know you're in Israel, but oh yeah, okay, I think the comments is like super delayed. So I had that on full blare, and I realized more and more in this workshop that I went to, I was like, oh, why is this not being taught in schools? Why are people learning algebra and history and all this stuff that's irrelevant to their day-to-day lives, and they're not learning about their own stuff? Every single day we're dealing with our thoughts, we're dealing with our beliefs, we're dealing with our emotions, every single moment of every single day, and we're creating our world from that. What kind of shit is it that we live in a world where we're being taught out of that? We're not even shown that that's what's happening, unless we go study psychology, or we go to these self-development things, or we become a coach, or we somehow like stumble upon a book or whatever. Like, what is that? What is that world? Why? And it actually still frustrates me to this day, and I'll never forget that question clear in my mind. Like, why is this not taught in schools? Why do more people not want to know about that? And that question still drives me today, and it's part of my mission, and it's part of my like life's work to be able to help people understand this. Like, yes, I do coaching, but I love this educational side of things as well, where I run my program and I teach people what the fuck is going on inside them. Because once you know how the system works, you can tweak it and play with it and have it perform how you want it to perform. And there's gonna be days where doubt comes in and fear trips you up and that kind of thing, but then you're gonna know what to do about it, right? Rather than it just happening and you're like screaming at your partner because that's your default thing that you do to try and get attention and try and be heard when you're having an argument, instead of just having a normal loving conversation. You like go into this rage and you're just like, wow, and then you kind of afterwards like, I don't really know why I do that, like it doesn't really achieve anything, like, and you're kind of like baffled by your own behavior. You actually understand what the hell you're doing, why you're doing it, and that, like, coming back around, that there is no luck, there's no fate, there's none of that. Like, it's just, it's you, it's all you, it's your choice. And when you can actually open your eyes to what's going on internally, because the problem is that it's going on unconsciously. Now, what does unconsciously mean? It means the same as like when, so your unconscious mind takes care of like your blinking, your breathing, your heart beating. You don't sit there every day and go, okay, breathe in now, quick, blink, blink. Make sure you're pumping the blood, I'm gonna die if you don't. Okay, blink, breathe, cool. These things become unconscious, meaning that we don't notice them because they're not important to our survival. And our conscious awareness really needs to lock onto what's dangerous, what's safe, what's going to keep us alive and breathing. So it's reserved for that. Like right now, if you were watching this video and nothing was unconscious, you would see every strand of my hair. You would see the bookshelf in the back. You would know the numbers. You would like look at the dimensions. You would see the door frame. How many lines are there? How deep are the grooves? Like, there's so many details in the world that are existing that we filter out because they're just not important. They're not relevant to what we're doing. Whereas if you're someone who fits door frames, that's probably super relevant to you, and you probably do notice something like that on a conscious level. If you're someone who produces videos, you probably know why I moved the camera closer to myself before, because there were patches of light either side, and I don't like that. So whatever's relevant to you will show up in your mind, which is why if you focus on what you actually want in life, that's what you're gonna get. If you focus on, oh my God, it's Black Friday, it's the Friday the 13th, it's like, oh my God, bad shit's gonna happen to me today. Like, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do? You're gonna go out and act like a douche, you're gonna trip over the sidewalk, you're gonna miss the bus, you're gonna like do all this stuff, and you're actually creating it all from within yourself just because you've got this idea in your head that the world's out to get you today. It's funny, it's craziness. Okay, the school job, perceived life and expectations of others' life. Oh, the school and job, perceived life and the expectations of others as a life. Where does that make sense? Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me, like just the whole thing. And like actually some of you on the line here, if you're still on the line, are involved in like online direct sales, network marketing, whatever you want to call it. There's various different things, and I really like, people are so closed off to that and scared to that. This is a real friggin' tangent from Black Friday, but whatever. And like really like the people who subscribe to the 9 to 5 and the old school, really is the way I see it, the old school ways of doing things are just going to be left behind. If you're just subscribing to that like 50s lifestyle of like having kids and getting married and whatever, cool, good for you, but the reality is you're going to be left behind because everything's moving online. Like it's sad, like shops are closing down and stuff because people shop online more. I like to actually shop in shops. I don't shop online very much at all. And I actually would dread the day that we couldn't go out to shops. But the reality is like those kinds of systems, like multi-level marketing and that kind of stuff, it makes sense. It makes so much sense from a business perspective, not only for the people who are out there as consultants, associates, representatives, whatever they call themselves, in the various different companies, but also for the business itself. Like the overheads are so low. Yeah, Katrina knows what I'm talking about if Karen's still on the line. And like people are so scared of that because it's something new and that they think it's like the devil or it's like it's got to be a scam or something, but like that's just your beliefs that you've got from somewhere else coming up and really probably blocking you from a whole lot of goodness in your life. So something to think about there. Do you guys have any other questions? I'm going to hang for a little second longer to see if anything else rolls through on the comments. Let me know if you've got any questions, really about anything, about this topic, about fate, about luck, about chance, about creating your own world. If you've got any questions about the program that I've been talking about, Leading From Within, that Danny's about to do, that Karen's currently doing, feel free to message me and ask me about that. There's another one kicking off in May. Yeah, pop through. If you don't have anything, just drop a comment, say cheers, thank you, bye, something like that, so I know you guys are all good. But yeah, this is something that I'm really passionate about. It's awesome. Thanks, Paul. See you later, mate. Yeah, it's my work. It's a big part of what I do, and I want to get into the school systems. I want to get in working with parents, working with people on being able to bring this stuff into conscious awareness, because it's already happening. Cool. Thanks, Katrina. Would I suggest homeschool with teaching life skills? I really actually don't know much about homeschool, what the requirements are, if there's like a set curriculum, if there's certain things that people have to check off, to be perfectly honest. It is something that concerns me looking, 5-10 years into the future of like having my own kids at school age being like, it fills me with a lot of dread, to be perfectly honest, thinking about sending my kids to a normal private school. But I know there's a lot of other options. Actually, I met this lady one time and I'll never forget because I thought it was sounded like the best thing ever. But her daughter, I think it was a daughter, goes to a school where they actually every term they're like a different place in the world. So it's sort of like boarding school in that the child's like not living at home, but like the worldliness that would give a child, oh my God, that really excited me. So every term they were like literally in a different part of the world, like different continent, not term, sorry, semester. I thought that was really cool. So would I suggest homeschool? Well, it really depends on the parents as well. Like, yeah, if I can get my kids homeschooled or go to an alternative school where they're kind of teaching more life skills, more stuff, like if people were taught about nutrition, sales techniques, like I'm going to do a video on that soon, because if you don't have sales techniques, you're really just losing out in all areas of life. Basic stuff, driving a car maybe, you know, fixing a car's harder now that it's electronic, but like basic stuff, cooking, and then obviously like this stuff's really important, like psychologically what's going on. If people had more compassion for each other and understood what's going on, because like if you're in an argument with someone or someone's kicking off, like I can already see what's going on internally for them, so I'm not gonna say I'm never triggered when someone's angry, but like I'm like just like okay, like I see that like something in your filter is like blocking you from relating to me right now. I can see that if I keep trying to talk to you, or if I say this or I do that, whatever the situation is, it's actually going to result worse than if I just say this or do this or step back or whatever. I can kind of see that, and I can forgive people more easily. I can let things go from the past way more easily, because I'm really just conscious of where I'm putting my energy. I'm going to do a video on that soon as well. I might even jump on Instagram now and do that, because I've been wanting to do that since yesterday. Had some amazing client results this week with energy and where they're putting it, and I'm super, super proud of them.